All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, January 10th, 2022, and of course, we just finished with the end of the NFL regular season, which was pretty good. It was pretty fun. Kind of a pretty random season, just a few things that no one really seen happening, like the Jaguars being in the playoffs, or, just random things, the Packers missing the playoffs. We'll look at the seeds in just a moment. So overall this season, we went 158, 111, and 2, so not a great pick'em record, but not a bad one either. Could have been a little better, could have been a little worse. But hey, with how random and how different this season was compared to years past, I felt pretty good about that one overall. So hopefully next year we do a little better, and hopefully we do pretty well here in the playoffs, and we don't suffer the same fate that we've had all regular season, But before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and make sure you leave your picks down below. That's the more important of the three things. I like to see where everyone's at. I like to see how you did during the regular season. Just all those cool random things that just make sure you leave them down below, and make sure you leave a like, and all these things help the channel out. It makes the video do a little better. And I'm sorry to introduce this or to use this in the beginning, but it does help. So those three things: like, subscribe, and leave your picks down below. I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much, and I guess we'll hop right into the wild card weekend NFL pick'em video. Oh wait, what the hell? Where are the bye weeks? Oh, okay. I don't know what happened there. All right, ignore that. That should say that's a wrong category, but whatever. All right, AFC seeding. We have the 7 seed Dolphins, the 6 seed Baltimore Ravens, the 5 seed Los Angeles Chargers, the 4 seed Jacksonville Jaguars, who are kind of like the shock team to get in this year. But everyone else, pretty much, yeah, you can pretty much have seen this coming. The only team I'm a little bit surprised, you don't see the Broncos in there. You don't really see the Titans or the Colts. The Patriots probably weren't going to make it, so never mind on them. But yeah, so pretty much everyone you'd expect to see here, save a few teams before the season started anyway. And then you have the Buffalo Bills as the 2 seed, and then the 1 seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. Everything kind of got figured out. They're going to play, if the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs do meet in the AFC Championship, they're going to play that game more at a neutral site. So let's take a peek at then the NFC seeding. And we have the Seattle Seahawks as the 7 seed. I would say they're the biggest surprise team for the NFC. A lot of people had them pegged around 4 or 5 wins, and they wound up winning 9. So what a good season for them. The New York Giants, another team that I don't think a lot of people kind of seen getting in this year, but they had a pretty good season. Brian Daboll coached them up, got the team playing well despite all the injuries and all the adversity. They finished here in the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys finished 12-5, the best wild card team of both either league. So Eagles had a great season. They're the 1 seed, 14-3. It's hard to overcome. It is what it is if you're the Cowboys. Tampa Bay Buccaneers finished with an 8-9 record, so they're the 4 seed, and they, it's really good that all division winners get to be one of the top 4 seeds, right? Maybe we go towards just the top 7 teams to make the playoffs. Even if you're a bad division winner, you don't make it. It's fine. But hey, it is what it is. Tampa gets a home playoff game. Then you have the Vikings, the 49ers, and the Eagles. So not really too surprising of a thing here. I guess the Rams, the Packers not making it's a little weird. Other than that, though, pretty standard. I don't know. All right. Let's go ahead and then jump into the actual games of football. We have at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, we have the 7 seed Seattle Seahawks heading to the division rival San Francisco 49ers, the 2 seed. 49ers are favored by 10 with an over-under of 42.5. Both teams coming off of wins, 19-16 versus the Rams, and the 49ers blew the Cardinals out 38-13. And yeah, so basically the way I'm looking at this game is, I don't know. I feel like the 49ers defense can kind of dominate the situation, come in, and whether it was the Lions, the Packers, or the Seahawks in this one, I feel like it was one of them things where it's like, well, which team is going to be served up to this 49ers defense? And I guess it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks. And they, Seattle's very familiar with them. They're familiar with the 49ers defense. So they might have a little bit of something here, which is why I have the game up like a 24-17 kind of rating. Because, there is familiarity on both ends. So the Seahawks can't really do anything to surprise the 49ers. But that 49ers defense isn't going to come like a random hit stick in the middle of the night like they've never seen this before. They know exactly what they can do on defense, the Seahawks, about the Niners. So we'll see how they kind of can react to that. They know it's coming. But unfortunately, again, with the line issues, the run game's pretty good for Seattle, so that probably won't be their worst thing. But I don't know. It took quite a bit to get past the Rams. Their offense has been kind of inconsistent the last few weeks here, kind of up and down. They just don't seem as explosive as they did probably like just a few like 5 or 6 weeks ago. So a little worried about those things for the Seattle Seahawks going to play this 49ers defense that's going to be super aggressive and super into it. So and Seattle's defense really isn't anything to write home about. And I'm sure 49ers will have a game plan to score some points and do their thing. So yeah, that's I pretty much like the 49ers over the Seahawks. I don't really see anyone having too much difference in that one, unless you just think Brock Purdy comes out and completely chokes it. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard, so the Saturday night football game will be the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chargers are 1.5 point favorites with an over-under of 47.5. This is the 4 seed Jaguars hosting the 5 seed Chargers. Very surprising situation indeed. No one really thought the Jaguars would be hosting a playoff game, but here we are. They beat the Titans 20-16, and the Chargers lost 31-28 to the Broncos. But the Chargers really weren't, they played their starters, which was weird, and then they lost Mike Williams, which could come back to bite them. But again, I don't know. So this game was a little bit difficult and a little bit hard to like exactly nail down on who's going to win, because it's like, boy, oh boy, do these two teams feel randomly even. And with the way that the Jaguars beat them earlier in the regular season, but that was again during the Chargers kind of weird period where they had a bunch of like players out. They were kind of dealing with like getting their stuff going, and so you have to kind of take that into consideration when you think about the Chargers and where they are now compared to where they were then. Are the Chargers a better team, and are the Jaguars equipped to deal with a better Chargers team? Probably. So the reason I'm looking at this, boy. I really do. I do think the Jaguars could win this game, but my problem here, and I know this is going to sound weird, but it's like experience and just kind of like overall skill level. You know what I mean? Like the Jaguars are a good, like overall put together team. They're extremely well coached, but they feel young. They feel rather inexperienced. They feel like if they get into a situation where they get down, they could probably be beaten pretty easily. Whereas like with the Chargers, I don't know, like I feel it's the same argument I can make with the Chargers with the Jaguars. I guess I just kind of have to look at it and go, I feel like the Chargers have a better offense. They have the pieces of a better defense. They should be a better football team than what they are. They just kind of underperformed what their massive expectations were at the start of the year, but here they are in the playoffs. And then you have the Jaguars, who are kind of wildly overperforming. And that to me just kind of is the reason I'm going to go with the Chargers. You have one team that's underperforming in the Chargers, so that means they could play better than what they are. And then you have the Jaguars, who are overperforming, so they could all of a sudden play a lot worse than what they are. And I don't know. I just feel like the Chargers are just a little bit better of a team, and I kind of like a team in the like rematch. If they play once, I like the other team to win the second time. So I kind of like the Chargers to fix what they did wrong in game one, whereas the Jaguars will just probably go do out about the same effort. So give me the Chargers in the rematch, 23-21. Well, I'm very unconfident about that game. All right, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard. It'll be the Miami Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 10.5 point favorites with an over-under of 44.5. You have the 7 seed Dolphins taking on the 2 seed Bills. Both teams coming off a win, 11-6 for the against the Jets for Miami, and 35-23 against the Patriots for the Bills. I don't know. Miami got lucky that the Jets were the last team they played, because prior to that, their defense had been getting beat up on. The Patriots were able to move the ball rather effectively against the Dolphins, despite all the bad that they have. The Packers were moving against them. It seems like their secondary isn't very good this year, and going up, or at least at this point in the season, and the rush defense really isn't that great either right now. So they're going to go up against the Buffalo offense that's moving really well, working on all cylinders, clicking well, feeling very inspired, very like motivated to win this game again. And then you have the Miami offense that's kind of been inconsistent, streaky for about the last 4 weeks. Even when Tua was playing, they weren't exactly hitting on all cylinders lately. They were been in a losing streak. The chemistry seemed a little bit off on the team. So heading into a playoff game like this, where you just snuck in and you're just going to have Tua back, so he could be rusty. I could see the chemistry being a little off. They haven't really fixed or addressed the issues that caused the losing streak when Tua was playing. And going up against a powerhouse like Buffalo, that has a whole lot to play for and a whole lot of motivation, good luck. I'm sure Miami can keep it close, but I like Buffalo ultimately like 31-24. Let's see what else we got. All right, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. We have the New York Giants, the 6th seed, taking on the Minnesota Viking 3 seeds. Vikings are favored by 3 with an over/under of 48.5. Giants coming off a 22-16 loss versus the Eagles, and the Vikings coming off a 29-13 win versus the Bears. All right, so first and foremost, if you're a Giants fan, just be happy I didn't pick your team. Seems like every time I pick you guys lose. When I don't pick you, you win. So, hey, good luck for you guys, huh? So basically, there's a few things I like in this game for the Vikings. I like the home field advantage for Minnesota in this game, because if it was in New York, I might go the other way in this one. So I kind of like home field. I think the Vikings have a far better offense than the Giants do. It's really not that close, especially since the Giants are still dealing with like injuries to receivers. Really, all they have super well to work with, like 100%, is Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. I mean, that's a lot to work with, again, especially against a weaker Giants defense, or a weaker Vikings defense that will give up some points, but it's pretty limited there, and even the Vikings defense can probably shut down whatever the Giants, for the most part, have. They probably won't be able to do much against Barkley and like one of the receivers, but everybody else, I'm pretty sure this Vikings defense can have a plan for. And again, the defense, yeah, we'll give that to the Giants 100%, but do they have enough offensive firepower to stay in this football game? Should the score get into like the 24s, the 26s? Hell, if both defenses break down, who do you really trust to win this game? Say the Giants defense has an off day and the Vikings does, or has a normal day and they're just off, and it goes to like 24-31. Well, we know the Vikings will get the 31. Plus, if this is a really close game, we know that the Vikings are probably the team you want to pick in those, because again, they've won every single close game that they've been in. They've been blown out like 3, maybe 4 times this year, but they've won all their other close games, which is like 13 of them. It's an insane number. So I kind of like that about that team. It shows me very good coaching. It shows me that they know how to play in close, big games. They know how to play in big moments, which is what a playoff game is. And I don't necessarily know what the Giants are made up of in those situations. So give me the Vikings 21-17 in a pretty good game, actually. Should be a good one. This will be a good one too. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 6.5-point favorites with an over/under of 43.5. Well, these two teams played each other, and the Bengals won 27-16. Like, it's just like, well, the Ravens played the Bengals, and the Bengals played the Ravens, and the Ravens lost, and like, it's confusing, right? First and foremost, we're not 100% sure that Lamar's going to play. He's probably going to play, more than likely, but at like what availability is he? Is he like a bad 50% or a bad 7? Like, no one's 100% right now, right? Like, everyone's kind of dealing with some kind of injury, some kind of nagging like thigh, or like something's not right with just about everybody at this point in the season. But like, Lamar's been hurt for a couple weeks now, like 3-4 weeks, and it's part of the reason why the Ravens have kind of fallen apart and gone to a 10-7 record, despite, I think, like starting like 8-3 or something like that, 9-3. They had a very good start to the season, but due to the Lamar injury, things have kind of fallen apart quickly here. And we don't really know if he's going to play. I'm pretty sure he is. But even if he does, at what ability and like what skill is he going to have? Is he going to be limited because of the injury? Is he going to be rusty? Is the team going to be a little bit off because Lamar's back? So there's a lot of questions for that part of the game. And then you have to look at the Bengals, who are feeling kind of miffed. They're kind of feeling cheated. They're kind of feeling a little bit like, hey, we could have potentially been at least near that 1 seed, or at least the 2 seed had that game again. Like, the Bills, if you go and look, they feel kind of cheated as a team with all the situations going on, which is a little weird. But again, they're allowed to feel their way. They're allowed to have their reactions. So you expect a very fired up and ready to go Buffalo team or Cincinnati team, especially like, you kind of seen that like look in how they were feeling against the Bills. They were looking pretty sharp. They looked really sharp yesterday, against the Ravens, not yesterday, but on Sunday against the Ravens. So I don't know, man. I just think that right now they have the better offense. Defensively, probably right now the Bengals are playing really good defense, so I'd say it's a wash. But again, I don't really know if the Ravens defense is slipping because of how much their offense is putting the defense on the field. Short drives, the offense not really scoring, so the Ravens defense is having to play a little bit extra, which is something you might want to keep your eye on. Could the defense be a little bit tired heading into this game, having to pick up the slack for the offense? So that's kind of why I'm leaning towards Bengals for the following, I guess, final reasons here. The offensive situation for the Ravens, I don't know if Lamar's playing, and if he is, how healthy is he going to be? How 100, like, is he like 50% but like bad, or is he like 70% but kind of weak? You know what I mean? How is he rusty? Is the offense going to be cohesive? And then you also want to look at, like, is the defense exhausted of the Ravens? Are they going to be like, have they been, is that why they gave up 27 last week? Are they starting to get a little bit gassed? Are they a little bit, from having to pick up the extra slack from the offense, not being able to sustain drives or score a lot of points and make it easy on them, and then with the Bengals, they've got Burrow, they're fired up, they've got everything seems to be working, they're incredibly healthy right now, so yeah, it's just really hard to pick against the Bengals at home. Good luck for the Ravens, but this is kind of looking like it's Cincinnati's win. All right, we got Monday Night Football. Basically, it's the final game of the wild card weekend. We have 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be the 5 seed Dallas Cowboys heading into Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. The Cowboys are favored by 3 with an over/under of 45.5. Teams coming off a loss, 26-6 to the Commanders and 30-17 to the Falcons. I don't think either team really tried in these games. It was just like whatever. Like they just were like, let's just get there and not get hurt. But again, the Cowboys are favored, so I guess this is my like upset pick of the weekend. I like Brady at home in a playoff game against the Tampa team, or against a Bucks or a Cowboys team that has traditionally not performed well in the playoffs with Dak, and the current iteration of the Cowboys just really hasn't performed well in the playoffs. Maybe Micah Parsons in his second year has a little bit more to add, but again, Dak in the playoffs has been rather underwhelming so far. McCarthy in the playoffs doesn't really exude confidence to me. Again, talented team, they should be able to beat the Buccaneers, but I don't know. Are you really going to bet against Tom Brady in a playoff game, in the wild card round against a defense that he can 100% beat? I don't know. And also, if you don't know, Tom Brady has a disdain for the Dallas Cowboys, being a 49ers fan growing up. So this game probably has a little bit more meaning, and he might come out trying to destroy the Cowboys. Again, remember, he hates this team. He was a 49ers fan growing up in the 80s. And if you know about football history, well, I don't need to tell you about the history of the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers, in which young Tom Brady would have been a fan of the 49ers. So, you can figure what he feels, and if he can eliminate them from the playoffs and extend those fans' misery, he's probably prone to do that. Plus, again, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were playing possum all season, where they know they didn't need to do that well to win the division and host a playoff game, and to them seeding's kind of irrelevant, whatever. And it just feels like because there are times where they just look completely off and garbage and slow and bad and not like the Buccaneers, and then there's like these sudden moments where they're like the sharpest team in football. Everybody's fast again. Brady can throw it 60 yards. It's just real quick and real sudden, and it's like it's either they can only do that a few times, or they're playing possum, and this playoff run is going to look a lot like 2018, where like when Brady was on the Patriots and they like could barely score 20, and then they go play the Chargers and Chiefs and drop like 40 points in consecutive games. That could be what we see something with Tampa here. That's my thoughts. I don't know. Could Dallas get the upset? Maybe. Yeah, probably. But again, I just don't trust Dak and company in the playoffs. They haven't shown me why I should. So give me the Buccaneers, 31-27 in an upset. There's my pick'em record. Again, I went 10-6 last week, 158, 111-2 on the regular season. Probably not the greatest, but again, not the worst. So, all right, everybody, that's my wild card weekend picks. It was pretty good, I think. I think I did all right. Oh shit, hold on. I fucked up there. There we go. Yeah, so again, if you don't mind leaving a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. It helps the video out, makes it perform a little better. And, make sure you leave your picks and all that, how you did in the regular season, what your picks are for this week, and everything like that. It's always fun. It's always a sad time of year as we get towards the end of the pick'em, but, at least it's getting exciting because we're in the playoffs. I always enjoy that, so. Alrighty, I think that's about that. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. Yeah, but that's probably it though. All right. Have a good rest of your day, night, morning, mid-afternoon, mid-evening, that time between like 1 and 4 when it's not like, or it's kind of like afternoonish, but it doesn't really feel like afternoon. It's kind of like midday, or I don't know. Whenever you decide to listen to this, just have a good one. Go Lions, go Tigers, and of course it's always go Patriots. I can't wait for the off season. Both my teams are out. See ya.